Tim Jason White, and the last time we talked to you, you said you were going to be probably running for Speaker of the House, and some things have happened now, and we see some clarity with the announcement from Speaker Gunn. And so what's the status of that now, as far as Jason White is concerned?
Well, currently, Paul, as you know, I serve as pro tem, and the Speaker tapped me for that role, and my colleagues, I guess you would say, agreed with that and went to the House floor and voted for me in that position. So I've enjoyed my time there the last 3 years serving in that position. And all of this was up in there, as the Speaker finished his 11th year and was looking at the end of his third term. And so with his announcement last week that he is not going to seek re-election to his House seat and ultimately, to the Speaker's role, that will leave that open this time next year after our 23 elections. So in my role currently as a pro tem, I'm also the chairman of the House Republican Caucus. And so part of that role is to ensure that my colleagues, my Republican colleagues, have the resources they need to run their campaigns and elections this coming year. So we'll get through qualifying, we'll see who's got opponents, and we will go to work on helping those guys and girls get reelected to their post and supporting other Republicans who are willing to take on Democrats in other legislative seats. We want to support those as well and coordinate that maybe for the first time in a better way with the state party as a whole as we engage. I've been raising money for the last year. I formed a new leadership PAC specifically for that purpose. We have been very successful in my count anyway as far as raising money. Folks have been very supportive, and so I'm looking forward to that and helping my colleagues all get back and get reelected. I think we've done a lot of good things, not only over the last 3 years, but over the last 11, 12 years in under the current Speaker's leadership. And so, I want to take that and run with it. And so we'll see where the votes exist. Unless the Speaker leaves us early, he'll be Speaker until the end of December, this time next year. So he's still got a year to serve. So I'm going to continue to fill my role as pro tem.
So realistically, not to come out and make an official announcement of say, "All right, it's on," would be the very latest would be the beginning of the session in 2024.
Well, that's when the House would actually vote and elect a new Speaker.
Yeah. And who won in the previous November.
That's right. Yeah. We'll have to get through elections and see who's seated. Of course, our Republican caucus will meet and we'll kind of, know what direction we're headed long before we get there in January. So, no, I'm not hiding the fact that I would want to run for Speaker. And I've been encouraged to do that by my colleagues, and folks have been very supportive. I spent most of yesterday in South Mississippi meeting with different House members and their constituents and their local elected officials, and a lot of good things going on in Mississippi, Paul. I spent some time in the Pine Belt yesterday.
So your job, should you decide to do it, is to not make too many people mad this year in this final session.
Well, unfortunately, when you're, as the whip and the vote counter, and you have to go see folks about their votes and how we're going to vote on issues, that can happen whether you intend for it to happen.